Now I want to talk for a moment about post-hypnotic suggestion. This is often treated in hypnosis training programs as something special, something unique. It's, something that people are going to do after the session is over. Really, I want you to recognize that almost all hypnotic suggestions are actually post-hypnotic suggestions. Even if it's close the eyes and relax, the idea here, the indirect suggestion, is that I'm training you in a process that you're going to be able to utilize later. One of my favorite post-hypnotic suggestions, which is something you heard me give to Sheila, is over the next day or two or three, or over the next week or two or three, or even over the next month or two or year or two, or even over the next few decades, you will be able to blank, 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 okay? So these are post-hypnotic suggestions. And after we do our indirect and our direct suggestion, I will often say this to clients. Now, this resource state that you've called hypnosis is a wonderful place. And so as you continue to relax a little bit further, I'll give you a couple of moments to allow anything either known or unknown keeping you from stepping into success to be dealt with by your conscious and your unconscious mind right now. Perhaps, if needed, to even let those things go forever. That's a post-hypnotic suggestion. And as you heard me use that with Sheila. Another post-hypnotic suggestion that I often use is this. I know everybody who leaves my office is going to step over the threshold, right? So I use that as sort of an anchor. Okay, we'll talk about anchoring here in a successive video. But when you leave here today and you step over the threshold of the door, you're not leaving the hypnosis office and the hypnosis session, but rather you're taking with you everything that you gained and learned in today's session into your everyday experiences and your real world. It's another example of a post-hypnotic suggestion. The post-hypnotic suggestion you also heard me give Sheila was, again, a reinforcement of the session. And this comes about from when I was a junior high school kid in the 70s. And I went to a church youth group, and it was called Fish Factory. That's what the 7th grade, 8th grade youth group was called. And the youth pastor used to say this, and I have no idea why he said it, but it always stuck with me. Anytime you see a UPS truck, it reminds you that Jesus loves you, right? And suddenly, you would begin to notice UPS trucks everywhere. A similar thing happened to me back in about 2001, 2002. I bought a red Ford Taurus. It was a 2001 red Ford Taurus. And I loved that car. It was a great car. And it was even a good-looking car. It was after they'd redesigned it a couple times, and it turned out pretty well. And so I had this red Ford Taurus. I remember going out in the Walmart parking lot, and suddenly I saw red Ford Tauruses everywhere. I was trying to get in other people's cars. I'd drive down the road, I would see red Ford Tauruses everywhere. Just recently, I bought a black Mercedes E550. It's pretty cool. It's a really nice car, the nicest car I've ever owned. And now I see that everybody has a black E550 out there. And so it's kind of interesting that when we decide we're going to become aware of something, we suddenly become aware of it. So what I do is I give my clients a suggestion that something in their environment is going to be a cue to smile, a cue to respond, a cue to remember the success that they've had, the change that they've made. So the post-hypnotic suggestion that I gave Sheila was this. And anytime over the next day or two or three, you see the color red, it could be a tail light, a stoplight, somebody's necktie, it could be a road sign, a cup lid, doesn't matter what it is. Anytime you see the color red, it'll be a little bit brighter, sharper, crisper, clearer. And it will be a reminder to you of your ability to experience success in everything that you do. So that's another example of a post-hypnotic suggestion. Now, I'll often give this post-hypnotic suggestion. The post-hypnotic suggestion that I give my clients is this. Anytime over the next day or two or three that you need to bring yourself back to this resource state that we call hypnosis, whether your eyes are open or closed, whether you're taking some time in a special place in a comfortable chair, or even if you're in the middle of your daily routine, you can, by simply recalling the resourcefulness of this experience that you have right now, bring yourself back to this place and this experience at any time it would be valuable to you. So that's another post-hypnotic suggestion that I frequently will give my clients that is very powerful. Now let me answer a question a lot of new hypnotists have. They say, okay, now post-hypnotic suggestions are the things that the client is going to be doing after they leave the session. So how do you not sound like a fortune cookie? You will be doing this, you will be doing that, this will happen to you. The easiest way linguistically to avoid sounding like a fortune cookie is to actually tie any suggestion for future behavior to a present experience. Okay? So the easiest way to not sound like a fortune cookie and the reason why that's important isn't because fortune cookies sound bad, but because we don't want the conscious mind to wonder, is that true? Will I really be doing that? We want our clients just to experience the process. So I'll say this to clients to avoid sounding like a fortune cookie. Anytime I predict their future response, okay, it's often what a post-hypnotic suggestion is. And in the future, when you sit at your desk, and normally perhaps you would have had a cigarette, you'll find yourself taking in a deep breath and relaxing and enjoying the fresh air that being a non-smoker brings. Well, that's the suggestion. That's the future. We know this will be true because you've decided to come here today to take time out of your schedule to make a significant change. And right now, breathe in and notice how good that air feels without carbon monoxide. And so we know that it will be true, that it will be easy for you to sit in that chair where perhaps you used to smoke cigarettes because you've come here today. You've decided to make a change, and you have already done that. See, every client of mine leaves my office a non-smoker. My office is non-smoking. So the idea here is that my clients don't become a non-smoker when the session is over. They're already a non-smoker. They've had their last cigarette. And now we're going through a ritual to ratify the change. So my post-hypnotic suggestion is predicated on what's happening in this moment. And that's one of the ways to structure post-hypnotic suggestions to avoid sounding like a fortune cookie. There are also a couple of powerful linguistic patterns. They're simple, but they're very powerful. When I'm predicting future outcomes, you will find that hypnosis is useful. Or you will find that you no longer chase cars. Or you will find that the weight simply melts off your body. Or you will find that you no longer have a craving for a cigarette. Or you will find that a peace and a serenity and a new happiness is the normal state of your experience. Notice the word find. People love to find things, so use that word find. Another powerful word, power word if you want to call it that, is that you will discover, like find, people like discovering things, right? So you'll discover that you had within you all of the resources you needed for success all of the time. And so we can use the word discover as a power word to facilitate action on post-hypnotic suggestions. As if is another linguistic pattern. This was popularized by Milton Erickson. And so when I make a prediction about future events, again, I will predicate it with an as if statement. So I will say, it's as if it were intuitive for you to see a buffet from a new perspective, or experience relationships in a new way, or for you to experience confidence at a new level. It's as if you have always been confident. It is as if you have always had this inner resource for success. It is as if it is intuitive. So as if is a real powerful way of linguistically avoiding sounding like a fortune cookie and creating powerful post-hypnotic suggestions. So although this has been a short talk on the idea of post-hypnotic suggestions, I hope it provided some clarity as to why I made the suggestions that I made in that session with Sheila. And post-hypnotic suggestions, and having a couple of these really as part of your repertoire that you can adapt to your clients can really end your hypnosis sessions on a high note. Whenever my clients leave my office, I want them to leave stepping into something incredible. They came to my office often with a problem, and when they leave my office, even after the first session, feeling incredible, we set our clients up for success. And strong post-hypnotic suggestions allow us to do that.